It's 7 o'clock. Do I stop or continue? Okay, we'll continue. Thank you very much. I just made an executive decision on behalf of every single one. Isn't it good? When will God go back to talking about the book of... Oh no, sorry. See, it's the jet lags. I'm still half awake or half asleep. When will you go back to... Well, the Y looked like a G. I'm so sorry. When will you go back to talking about the book of Revelation? Actually, you just led me to it. I was going to say that we will be going back to the book of Revelation because we finished chapter 19. We still have 20, 21, and 22, 3 more chapters. We have to finish it, yeah? So by the grace of the Lord, maybe next Friday, we'll go back to the book of Revelation. I know we've been talking about the Song of Solomon. Who likes the Song of Solomon? Not many hands. Would you like book of Revelation more? All right, we'll be talking about the Epistle of St. Paul. Thank you very much. All right, so we'll be going back to the book of Revelation, God willing. We'll be going back to that. That's another question about the book of Revelation. Okay, we'll be going back to it, no problem. If I ask God for forgiveness, but repeat the same mistake, it wasn't my intention though, will God forgive me? Yes. If it wasn't your intention to making the same mistake, but through the weakness of the body, through the weakness of this human being, you went and done the same mistake and you come back and say, Lord, I'm sorry, He will. But we need to understand one thing. We need to pay for it. So the Lord will forgive you. The Lord's forgiveness for that sin, making heaven possible again for you. But the sin that was made, the payment of it needs to be paid on earth. Yeah? So when we go there, we have no debt owing against our name. So the Lord pays the penalty for heaven. But the mistake that was made on earth, I need to also pay for it on earth. So all of a sudden, I went through some bumpy ride. Oh, what happened? Why are you doing this to me, Lord? Oh, well, how many mistakes have you made? You should also, receive back some of those mistakes. So what I'm trying to say is, the more we do those mistakes, the more we will still encounter bumpy rides in our life. You want to live a little bit more comfortable? Like sitting in the plane and you don't want to go through turbulence? Well, stop sinning. Make him less. The turbulence will be less severe. And I remember one day, I was going to LAX airport, Los Angeles. It's a 14-hour flight from Sydney, direct flight, Qantas baby, A380, double-decker. I was sitting upstairs. And there was no seats in front of me, there was a wall. It's 2 seats only. And I thank the Lord there was nobody sitting next to me, so I had the whole area for myself. So 10 hours into the flight, it was smooth as. 10 hours. 4 hours to go to LA. Suddenly, out of nowhere, couple of bumps. And for the next hour, the plane took a beatings. I said, it's done, finished, it's gone down. People started fainting, vomiting, and the explosion in the shell of that plane. I said that something's going to break and give way. It was so severe. My goodness, when it dropped, my heart came out of my mouth, and I collected it from the ground and I put it back in there again. I had the belt tight as possible as you can have it. my both hands holding so tight to the seat, and my feet pushing against the wall in front of me, and I was still being lifted up. For 1 hour. I was praying, okay? And then after 1 hour I said, Lord, excuse me. What? Hello? Anybody home? Man, we're dying here, brother. I said, Lord, look, I'll make a deal with you. Let's make a deal. I said, you either take the plane down or you stop the turbulence. One of the two. Within a few seconds, after 1 hour beating, man, the Lord is so patient. I can't believe it. Within a few seconds, from all that wild turbulence, boom. I couldn't hear nothing. I couldn't believe it at first. I pinched myself. No, it's smooth, baby. I said, Lord, I really thank you so much. But you could have done it a lot earlier than 1 hour. One day I got onto this plane. This hostess, oh, Father, thank God that the travel will be very safe this time. I said, well, you don't know me. I could be the troublemaker. Allahu Akbar. Yes. All right, are you settled now? Okay. God bless you. We came from Melbourne just to see you. Please pray for our family. And we really need your prayers. We love you, Father. I love you more. And I love the people of Melbourne. I miss you very much. Before we used to go every month, once a month, we used to go to Melbourne a while back. It's been a little while since we've been to Melbourne. But God willing, very soon, in the very near future, we'll be coming to Melbourne, my beloveds, and we'll make the announcements accordingly, so you are aware of our visit times and places and the likes. So God willing, we'll be joining you in person in Melbourne very, very soon. Is it true that there is more book to the Bible? If so, why have they taken them out? Well, yes, there are more books, and these books are only accepted by the apostolic churches. When I say apostolic, I mean Catholic and Orthodox. Orthodox both Eastern and Oriental, and the Church of the East as well. So the Bible that I have in my church consists of 73 books instead of 66. 73 books. We have our youth ministry gathering once a fortnight on Wednesdays. It was just Wednesday, just passed 2 days ago. And the next meeting is a fortnight from that Wednesday that just passed. We've given Holy Bibles to the people that attend our youth ministry. Those Bibles are made out of 73 books, not 66. So you have 1st and 2nd Maccabeans, we have Tobit 1 and 2, and other books. You don't find in the common Bible that you have, reason being, the common Bible that you have readily available, it is a Protestant print, my beloveds. And a Protestant print derives from what they call the Septuagint translation, the 70th Elders, that was translated around 250 BC by the Roman Emperor in the name of Ptolemy. Ptolemy, he was the emperor ruling, and he happened to rule over Egypt as well. He established a library that had every single book that existed on the face of this planet. He built the library. It took him years, but he gathered every single book that was established and published at his time. The Jewish people that were living in Alexandria at the time went to the emperor and they said, your library, by the way, emperor, is missing one book. And this book is found with one nation, and this nation will never give you this book. He said, which book is that? They said, the Torah, the Old Testament book. The Old Testament book. It is the Jewish, the Israelite people book. And they won't give it to you because it's sacred. He said, well, let me see. So he went, since he was ruling, he gathered 70 elders from the Israelite nation, extremely well informed and embedded in the scriptures of the Old Testament, and very well educated in both the Hebrew and the Greek, all Greek language. Very well informed in both language, Hebrew and Greek. So he grabbed those 70 elders and he placed each one in a different location where no one could have communicated with the other. So 70 elders, one in this city, the other one in the other city, and then he got, let's say, chapter 1 of Genesis. He made out of that chapter 1 of Genesis 70 copies. And he gave those copies to the 70 elders. And he said to them, I want you to translate this chapter 1 for me from Hebrew to Greek. It was the first time ever for the Old Testament, which is written in Hebrew. That's the original text of the Old Testament, Hebrew language. It was the first time ever that the Hebrew text being translated into Greek, around 250 BC, by Ptolemy, the emperor of the Roman Empire. And he said to them, chapter 1, you translate from Hebrew to Greek. And then I'll collect all the 70 translations and I'll match them. If I see there are big differences, I'll chop everyone's head and I'll bring another 70 elders until it is translated. They got scared. They translated the Old Testament into Greek. However, traditions say that they hid deliberately 7 books because they didn't want to give the entire book to a pagan emperor. That's a defilement as far as the Jewish people are concerned. You are defiling our sacred book. So they said, traditions say that they hid 7 books deliberately, so that way we gave you the book but not the entirety of it. So the current Bibles are translated from the Septuagint the 70th translation, i.e. translated by the 70 elders. The 70th translation had 66 books only. But those other books came into the Holy Bible through the councils that were held throughout the centuries, and then authenticated by the apostolic churches, Catholic, Orthodox churches. Later on it became 73 books. So yes, that's why.